It all started when I moved out of town after graduating from college and rented a wood cabin in the woods. I thought to myself that this would be a new life for me, a fresh start per se. It was me and my tabby cat named Audie. When Audie and I drove up the mountain where the cabin was, I then got a bit creeped out by the cabin by how old it looked. I then hesitatingly entered inside. I was surprised to see the interior looked fancy and kind of modern. I then unpacked my stuff and set down Audie's food bowl. There was no need to prep for water because there was a clean water stream not too far into the woods where me and Audie can drink from. I never had to worry about Audie running off because he was a loyal cat who never thought to run off. After I unpacked my stuff and laid on my bed, it was comfy. I then fell asleep. I then woke up from my bed to see the front doors open. I freaked out and started to look around for Audie, but he was nowhere. I had then remembered that I forgot to close the door all the way when I first entered the house. I then sprinted outside to see nothing, not even footprints. I had remembered that this is a mountain that was snowy, snow for miles. I sat outside for 30 minutes just waiting for Audie, but nothing. I then decided to head inside since I was making no progress. Upset and mad at myself, I then decided to go to sleep. I then saw myself in a black void with nothing but a mirror. I looked at myself in the mirror for a bit, and nothing. But then I saw the dark silhouette of a figure slowly walking towards me. I tried to move, but nothing was happening. As the figure got closer, I then realized what it was. It was a scrawny man with a raggedy and torn black cloak with a hood over his head. The more disturbing thing is that the man's skin was dark and wrinkled. I could see the veins bulging out of his arms, but the most disturbing thing was the mask he was wearing. It was the skull of a deer or moose of some kind. He also had bluish white eyes peering through the mask, and I saw a second figure walking up to the mirror as well, but it looked short like a cat. It was Audie, but he was different. Instead of his fur being brownish orangey color, it was blue and white. His eyes were dark with red pupils, but what was more terrifying is that his mouth, eyes, and ears were dripping this black goopy substance. It looked unnatural. A couple seconds later, I woke up from my dream to the sound of some kind of battle horn of some kind. Something that you'd hear in a movie of a war involving knights and warriors of that matter. You get the idea. The sound was deep and spooky. It was coming from outside. I then speed walked outside to see what was making the sound. I walked outside, I followed the sound, and it led to the water creek full of fresh water. I looked around and saw a figure. It was a man in a dark cloak holding a mask and a go horn to his mouth. The same man in my dream. As soon as I realized the severity of the situation, I sprinted back to the cabin and got inside and got a rifle that I brought with me on the camp. I went back outside, aimed the gun at the forest, waiting for someone to show themselves. I then waited and waited and waited until I saw someone coming into view. It was the man, and what seemed to be a cat. It was Audie. But like in my dream, he had pale fur, dark eyes, and most of all the important thing, the dark substance on his eyes, ears, and mouth. I pointed my gun to the man and called up for Audie to come here. Whatever the man did to Audie, Audie needed medical help. I called out to Audie, and he didn't move, just staring or looking at me. I called out again, but no use. I then saw Audie move closer to the man. I then had realized that whatever the man did to Audie had changed him completely. It's like he turned against me. I then started to cry, realizing that my precious cat Audie was gone. I then wiped my eyes and looked over where I saw them, and they were gone. I then realized this was my chance to get the frick out of there as soon as I can. I packed my stuff quickly, got my rifle, got into the car, and started to drive down the mountain. As I kept driving down the mountain, it felt like a couple minutes have been going by as I've been shedding tears along the way. As I was about to pass down a road, I noticed two figures I was about to drive past. It was the man and Audie watching as I left. As I passed them, I then heard the horn again. I sped up and it eventually went back into town. I decided not to tell anyone because I knew that no one would believe the situation by how far-fetched it sounded. Anytime my family or friends asked where Audie was, I would tell them that I brought him to an animal shelter and he got adopted by a new family. This event has scarred me for life, and I've never rented a cabin in the snowy mountains ever again.